this is a fascinating topic for so many homeowners because we get this notice in the mail. First, it makes you panic a little bit because it's like, oh no, what do I owe now? But it isn't a bill. It is actually telling you what your property value is worth.
Yeah.
How do you assess that? How do you come to that number?
That's right, Jody. So our valuations are based on the value of your property based on what it could be sold for in the market of July 1st of the previous year. So the notice that you're getting in your mail today or tomorrow or yesterday is the valuation from July 1st, 2013.
Okay, so it's 6 months old already.
It's 6 months old, and that's our legislated valuation date. Property owners should understand that that valuation is a market value-based valuation. What that means is we look at property transactions to tell us what the property is worth in or about that time.
Because it does break it down into what the actual structure is worth and what the land value is worth, and the structure seems to stay consistent. Where the land can fluctuate more so, yes?
Typically, that's how it works, right? We have seen in environments in the past when costs to build were going up quite substantially, the value of those components may change as well. If land values are increasing more than the total values are increasing, then you can see changes in this split, as we call it.
Now, we've heard the bubble's going to burst and the market's crashing and what, you know, across the country it's been sort of in doomsday. It doesn't seem to affect the markets here quite as much. I'm a total novice, so I'm saying that just by having conversations with my friends and family when we discuss whether or not our properties are going to be worth with interest rates and how things are going to change. 6 months ago, the assessments are made. Do you take into consideration those massive fluctuations or interest rates as well?
We take into consideration everything that the property purchasers and sellers take into account. So whatever is happening in the marketplace is reflected in our assessments, because that's what market value is. It's a reflection of everything that happens in or about July 1st of the year.
So in what window, though? Like when you say this is 6 months old or a July 1st assessment, are you looking at it from 6 months prior or a year prior?
So the best indications of what the property is worth in July 1st would be the sales that happened about July. Of course, nothing really sells on July 1st.
Right.
But you know, in the month or two either side of July 1st would give us a reflection of what that market's doing.
Okay, so if we're panicking because our land went up, which is great, but now does this mean our property tax is going to spike as well?
Right. So there's, you know, obviously, you know, people are concerned when their assessments go up, what happens to the taxes. It's a two-part process, really. BC Assessment sets the valuations, and the cities then take those valuations and determine what type of tax rate they need to meet their budgetary needs. It can be said that if your property goes up by more than the average for your type of property, then there's a chance that you may be paying more taxes. But it's not a one-to-one relationship. If your property goes up 10%, you're not going to be typically paying 10% more tax. That relationship doesn't exist, but you should be on guard for that.
You just made a lot of people go, whew. Now, if we are looking at our assessments and thinking, okay, well, I'm looking to sell now, that looks like this is money that could go in my pocket. Do you list at the price of your assessment?
Well, of course, I advise people to list based on today's market or whenever they're going to list. The assessment does help you understand what your property is worth. Of course, that's back in July of last year.
Right.
But if you're going to list for this market coming up, I'd advise you to talk to the experts that would look at today's market and tell you what you should be listing at, as opposed to what you could have listed for or got for the property 6 months ago.
Gotcha. So being diligent and due diligent and knowing what homes are selling for in and around or condos or apartments are selling for in and around where you live. Your website is phenomenal for that. Right.
We had last year over 250,000 hits on our website in January alone. And that's primarily because we have the eValue BC tool on our website, bcassessment.ca.
I did it for the first time an hour ago, and I was blown away because you could actually look at what your neighbor's property assessment is, what the most recent sales in your neighborhood have gone to, and that is just sort of an open book, such a great tool.
Exactly.
For homeowners. What's your best advice when it comes to looking at, trying to get into the market, if you're looking at a certain property, assessing what you can and cannot afford?
Right. It's always about information. Everything that we do today is about information. We're in the information age. Our website at bcassessment.ca has a ton of information, like you mentioned. If you have a neighborhood that you're looking at, go to our website, have a look at all the sales in that neighborhood of that type of property.
Speak to the professionals about...
See what they're selling for, talk to the professionals, and take it from there.
Dharmesh, thank you very much for being here.
Thank you.
Clarifying much when it comes to assessing your property value. Chime in on Facebook and tell us what you think about receiving your assessment. Does it make you want to buy? Does it make you want to sell? Where are you going from here? And certainly the tax bill panic is over. Thank you to our guest this morning.